Have you ever wondered how to cook popcorn in sand? Or who discovered popcorn? Why does popcorn even pop? Have you ever heard of popcorn soup? And what do you think is the best way to make popcorn? Today we're going to find out together. We're going to read The Popcorn Book by Tommy de Paula. And now a word from our sponsor. On the TV screen it says Popo Pop Popcorn. Looks like he's getting an idea for some popcorn. Let's find out. Mom, can we make some popcorn? Yes, the popcorn's in the refrigerator. Yummy. Tony and Tiny look like twins. What do you think? They dress alike with blue pants, green sweatshirts, and purple and white sneakers. Except Tiny wears glasses. They even have twin cats. It's a good thing their names are on their shirts. I wonder why Mom keeps the popcorn in the refrigerator, said Tony. I don't know. I'll go look it up, said Tiny. Tiny likes to look new things up. He learns a lot that way. Here it is. Popcorn is best stored in a tight jar in the refrigerator so the kernels keep their moisture. Boy, is this interesting, said Tiny. You might be used to looking things up on the internet, but some years ago, families had books called encyclopedias where they look things up. Popcorn begins with the letter P, and that's where Tiny can find the information. Popcorn is the oldest of the three main types of corn. There is field corn, which we feed to animals like cattle and pigs, sweet corn, which is the kind we eat, and popcorn, read Tiny. Did you know there were 3 types of corn? If not, you learned something new already. Tony is getting the ingredients to pop popcorn. So far, he has the cooking oil, the popcorn, and a cooking pot. Popcorn was discovered by the Indian people in the Americas many thousands of years ago. One of the first sights Columbus saw in the New World was the Indians in San Salvador selling popcorn and wearing it as jewelry, Tiny read. First, I heat up the pan, said Tony. But popcorn is even older than that. In a bat cave in New Mexico, archaeologists found some popped corn that was 5,600 years old. Wow, that's amazing. I hope they didn't eat it, though. And 1,000-year-old popcorn kernels were found in Peru that could still be popped. Now the cooking oil, said Tony. The Indian people of the Americas had many different ways to pop popcorn. One way was to put an ear of corn on a stick and hold it over a fire. But many kernels were lost in the fire with this method. As Tiny keeps reading, Tony is starting to make the popcorn. The pan is hot, so he's adding the cooking oil now. Another way was to throw the kernels right into the fire by the handful. The popcorn popped out all over the place, so there was a lot of bending and running around to gather it up, read Tiny. Okay, now it's hot enough to add a few kernels, said Tony. In 1612, French explorers saw some Iroquois people popping corn in clay pots. They would fill the pots with hot sand, throw in some popcorn, and stir it with a stick. When the corn popped, it came to the top of the sand and was easy to get. I think I like that way the best. What do you think? Tony wanted to take a look at all this interesting information too. He has to be careful, though, not to forget about the popcorn. The Algonquins, who came to the first Thanksgiving dinner, even brought some popcorn in a deerskin pouch. The colonists liked it so much that they served popped corn for breakfast with cream poured on it. I've never eaten popcorn like that, have you? I don't think my mom would let me have popcorn for breakfast. Today, Americans use 500 million pounds of popcorn each year. 30% is eaten at movies, circuses, ball games, and county fairs. 10% is saved for seed and sold to other countries, but 60% is popped right at home. Tiny continued to read. Oh goody, the kernels are popping. That means the oil must be ready, said Tony. People in the Midwest buy more popcorn than any other part of the United States. Milwaukee and Minneapolis are the top popcorn eating cities, followed by Chicago and Seattle. Most of the popcorn is grown in the Midwest too, Tiny read. Now I'll put more kernels in the pan and turn the heat up, said Tony. I think the cats want some popcorn too. Now, here's the part I read first, said Tiny. Popcorn is best stored in a tight jar in the refrigerator, so the kernels keep their moisture. If the kernels dry out, there will be too many old maids left at the bottom of the pan. Old maids are unpopped kernels. It doesn't look like enough, said Tony. If the popcorn does dry out, you can add 1 or 2 tablespoons of water to the jar and shake it until the water is absorbed. What's Tony doing? He's adding even more popcorn kernels? Popcorn pops because the heart of the kernel is moist and pulpy and surrounded by a hard starch shell. When the kernel is heated, the moisture turns to steam and the heart gets bigger until the shell bursts with a pop. Are you sure you didn't put too much popcorn in the pan? Asked Tiny. Of course not, silly, said Tony. The Indian people had a legend that inside each kernel of popcorn lived a little demon. When his house was heated, he got so mad that he blew up. That's a silly legend, but they had good imaginations. There are different kinds of popcorn. White wholeless and yellow wholeless are the ones most commonly sold in stores. The smallest type is called strawberry because it has red kernels and the ears look like strawberries. Rainbow has red, white, yellow, and blue kernels. It is sometimes called calico. There is black popcorn too, but all of it pops white. The biggest kernels are called dynamite and snow puff. Shake, 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 says Tony as he shakes the pan. After popcorn is popped, most people like to put melted butter and salt on it. But if salt is put in the pan before the kernels are popped, it makes the popcorn tough. That's a good tip. There are many stories about popcorn. One of the funniest and best known comes from America's Midwest. One summer, it was so hot and dry that all the popcorn in the fields began to pop. In no time at all, the sky was filled with flying popcorn. It looked so much like a blizzard, everyone put on mittens and scarves and got out the snow shovels. Help! I have a blizzard too! I knew you put too much in the pan. Okay, if you're so smart, what do we do now? I know. The best thing about popcorn is eating it. The end. These were some facts about popcorn in the late 70s. Can you find new information about popcorn? If so, post it below in the comments. Until next time.